What's going on, YouTube fam? We back at y'all with another one. It's your boy Church Takes. Just basically wanted to give a shout out to the whole podcast space and what everybody is doing, putting out their premium quality. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that most people that are doing it now, they kind of realize where this can go, and I think everybody that's in the space, they're a bit ahead of their game. Some people may say that the podcast space is dying, but just with the way that the new digital age is now going, shout out to everybody who's currently in the space, and blessings to you guys to just keep on pushing and keep on going. So with that being said, shout out to the Donza project. This is my first take for doing the for interviewing Tax Stone. Obviously, if you guys know anything about the pod space, you know that Tax Stone is one of the forefathers, if you will, in this space. He was doing it before a lot of people were doing it, and the fact that the Donza Project was able to get him on for an interview, that was pretty fire. You guys should definitely go check it out if you haven't seen it. He gives great insight, um and with all due respect, to all parties involved, I don't want to see anybody locked up. So free all the guys who need to be free, let's just put it that way. He went into a lot, and again, go check that out if y'all haven't seen it. Shout out to the Donza Project, and shout out to everybody involved in that interview, um from a podcasting perspective. Now let's go on to the next take. Did y'all see the podcaster that got snuffed on air? I mean, it was more like an uppercut, but I mean, sheesh, homeboy was just saying how he's been talking mess for over 3 years and that nobody touched him. And before he could finish that sentence, the big whammy came from the south, and your man was on the floor before the sentence came out of his mouth. He didn't know what hit him upside his head. However, he was able to get out a nice little trip in the whole scuffle. He did successfully trip the guy that snuffed him, but I mean, yeah, if you talking about the most successful thing you did was a trip. Yeah, I mean, listen, nonetheless, shout out to those guys, man. I think they're from Long Island. I want to see anything like that on air, especially between us. So again, shout out to you guys, but clean it up a little bit. That's all. Let's move on. Homeroom, they put out a 3 hour, like a 3 hour and a 30-minute episode. Um, I'm not that invested into their content to watch that whole clip and review it. But shout out to them for the 3 hour plus. I mean, the 3 hour plus pod. I mean, you may get reoccurring viewers that way on the pod, and that is a smart tactic just to have long content. Because if you have guys, or if you have fans or ladies or just people in general that are interested in you, and they got a 3 hour pod, chances are they're not going to sit down and watch that whole 3 hour pod in that whole 3 hours. They're gonna clip it up and get back to it and get back to it and get back to it. But yeah, I just don't think I'll have the same critique. I don't think anybody has 3.5 hours to sit down and watch a pod, unless they're doing it that where it can benefit them later on. Kind of like, anyway. Let's move on. Um, Take four. Charlemagne's interview with Big Sean was alright. It was alright. Big Sean exposing the business to Charlemagne's pod was definitely a good look for Charlemagne's pod, but I don't think it was a good look. I don't think it made Big Sean look good. DJ Academics was getting on Big Sean crazy, saying that Logic comment. Um, yeah, he was saying that Logic was looked at it. Big Academic said that Logic isn't top five with anybody in his own family. So Big Sean saying that. I mean, again, I just don't know if it made Big Sean look good, but it made Charlemagne's pod look pretty good, and it's gonna I mean, he's just going to continue to get more people up there. So shout out to everybody in that space over there. The Joe Budden podcast has been producing premium podcast quality as usual. Yes, they have hit a little bump on the production, but in my opinion, I mean, it's still A1. It's still A1. You don't get a better production, you don't get a better visual. So, nonetheless, shout out to Joe and the crew for continuing to display greatness, in my opinion. Even while getting hammered in the spaces, I still value the content that they are producing. So shout out to Joe, the crew. Shout out to everybody up there. Even though I give you guys my critique, it's all love. It's nothing but love. Gil's Arena is all over the place. The marketing budget that this guy popped out on YouTube must be a lot because I mean the pod pops up on my feed a little too much. But the pod is a great pod and the insight is phenomenal. I mean, obviously they're all basketball players with tons of opinionated debates, and opinionated debates is great for content, especially if one can hold a conversation. The whole screaming thing, I mean, yeah, people want to see drama, so yeah, I get it, I get it, but um, shout out to y'all, man. You guys are all over the place. Gills Arena, keep on doing your thing. Now, last but not no, this isn't last but not least. Shout out to Danny from the Stop and the shampoo guy for starting their new pod. I've been reviewing since day one of their pod, so go ahead and check my channel out and go check out the review that I put out on the first pod and the second pod. I'm interested to see how long it's going to last. To my understanding, we'll just have to wait and see. But shout out to them, of course. Where are we going with this? Rory and Mal. I don't even want to say anything negative about Rory and Mal. Again, these guys, they are the guys that are going to keep on pushing. Um, yeah, I mean, I can give my opinion. I think their set needs a little bit more lighting. I mean, like they have a darker vibe to their pod, but I'm sure that that's what they chose to go for. Um, and again, I wanted to be me personally. I think I think I like the lighter scheme when I'm visually looking at something for a certain amount of time. So that's my opinion, but shout out to them. Rory and Mal, they are arguably they're the most underrated pod guys in the space. um and shout outs to them. Last but not least, this guy Aiden Ross interviewed Donald Trump. That's all I gotta say about that. That was wild. And last but not least, man, let's give a shout out to Manhattan Gray, the sponsor. Basically, go over to manhattangray.com. Go ahead and get yourself a nice hair care package. At the end of the day, you'll get 20% off. And, you can keep your hair moisturized. You can keep it oiled. You can keep a nice shine to it. And that's if you have gray hair or if you don't have gray hair. It's a nice product to keep in the rotation as far as keeping your hair and your beard looking right. So that is it. That is all. Like, comment, and subscribe. Remember that your boy Church Takes has the best takes. That is it. That is all. We are out, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.